For my final project, my topic is photosynthesis. By the end of the slideshow, students will be able to summarize the process of photosynthesis, then the reactants or products of it, and identify the main structures involved in it. What organisms can carry out photosynthesis? Not all organisms can carry out photosynthesis. Only certain autotrophs, which are organisms that have the ability to produce their own food, are capable of it. Plants are one example of autotrophs that have this ability, as well as types of bacteria and algae. To be more specific, plants are what is known as photoautotrophs, which are a type of autotroph that uses sunlight and carbon dioxide to make their own food, which is the process of photosynthesis. What exactly is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process of converting light energy, carbon dioxide, and water into glucose and oxygen. Organisms that carry out photosynthesis use the glucose as food and release the oxygen. The chemical equation for photosynthesis is shown in the picture below. And the picture below shows how carbon dioxide and water are converted into sugar and oxygen using light energy. There are two stages of photosynthesis, the first one being light-dependent reactions. The purpose of light-dependent reactions is to convert light energy into chemical energy, which will then be used in the Calvin cycle, which is stage 2. The light-dependent reactions start in a grouping of pigment molecules and proteins, known as a photosystem, where a pigment molecule absorbs one photon, which is essentially a packet of light energy at a time. This photon then travels to a molecule of chlorophyll, which is the green pigment that captures light energy needed to complete photosynthesis. The photon causes an electron to gain energy and break free from an atom in the chlorophyll molecule. In order to replace the missing electron in the chlorophyll atom, a molecule of water gets split, which results in an electron being released as well as the formation of oxygen and hydrogen ions. Because the breaking of a water molecule releases 2 electrons, each broken molecule can be used to replace 2 donated electrons in the chlorophyll molecule. In eukaryotic cells and some prokaryotic cells, there are 2 different photosystems. The first one is known as photosystem 2. After the process is described in the previous slide, photosystem 2 transfers the electron from the chlorophyll molecule to photosystem 1 in the electron transport chain. The electron transport chain transfers the electron through a series of proteins. As the electron moves, energy from it is used to fuel membrane pumps that move hydrogen ions against their concentration gradient from the stroma to the thylakoid space. After the energy from the electron is used, it is accepted by a pigment molecule in photosystem 1. The pumping of hydrogen ions into the thylakoid space generates ATP, and the re-energization of the electron from the electron transport chain generates NADPH, both of which are necessary for the next stage of photosynthesis. The second stage of photosynthesis is the Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle takes place inside chloroplast, more specifically in the stroma, which is the fluid-filled space surrounding the granite inside a chloroplast. It occurs in 3 stages: fixation, reduction, and regeneration. The fixation stage refers to carbon fixation, which is the conversion of a 6-carbon compound into 2 3-carbon compounds. The reduction stage of the Calvin cycle is when ATP and NADPH use their stored energy to convert the 3-carbon compound into a different 3-carbon compound, known as G3P. Then, one of the G3P molecules leaves the Calvin cycle to form glucose. The final stage of the Calvin cycle is when the remaining G3P molecules regenerates RuBP, which prepares the system for the first step to occur again, the carbon fixation step. Higher order thinking. What would happen if a plant had no access to carbon dioxide? If a plant had no access to carbon dioxide, then neither glucose or oxygen would be able to be made through photosynthesis, even if the plant still received water, because both of these products contain carbon, and carbon dioxide is where the carbon for the products comes from. Without carbon dioxide, the plant would die because it would not be able to carry out photosynthesis and create its own food. Assessment questions. Number 1. Which molecule absorbs light energy during photosynthesis? The molecule that absorbs light energy during photosynthesis is chlorophyll. Number 2. What is the molecule that leaves the Calvin cycle to be converted into glucose? The molecule that leaves the Calvin cycle to be converted into glucose is G3P. Number 3. What 2 products result from photosynthesis? The 2 products that result from photosynthesis are glucose and oxygen.